You forgot the first rule of remakes, Jill. Don't fuck with the original.
Hey everybody, Season 3 of Teen Wolf came out on DVD just yesterday, and you know what that means?
Okay, I know I need a haircut. You don't have to rub it in, dude. Seriously.
No, actually, it means another episode of Don't F with the Original.
With Nicholas, I'm the VN correspondent for Idiomatic.
And I'm Dimitri, editor-in-chief of Idiomatic.com and movie critic. Now, normally on Don't F with the Original, what we do is whenever a movie comes out that's a reboot, a remake, or whatever, we check the movie that started the franchise and use that review to gauge our expectations about the upcoming entry in the series. But because it's a week where there's no remake or reboot that came out specifically, we just noticed, hey, I'd like to talk about the Teen Wolf reboot, because that seems like, oh god, why? You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And since the DVD's coming out, I was like, okay, you know what? This week, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Alright, so it gives us an excuse to watch Teen Wolf. Again, the factor of, oh god, why?
Pretty much.
Starring Michael J. Fox, written by Jeff Loeb, for you comic book fans.
Are you kidding?
I am not kidding.
Okay, that explains a lot.
And directed by Rod Daniel.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, yes. I am strangely ambivalent towards it. I will say that this is sort of a nonsense screenplay that's elevated by the fact that I can watch Michael J. Fox pretty much do anything and find it charming.
Yes, I was fascinated by Michael J. Fox as well. The story and, the screenplay made no sense to me, so it kind of cancels out. There were some good scenes that were kind of fun, so I would give it, more on the like side, but, barely.
Alright, so the story of Teen Wolf, such as it is.
Yeah.
Scott is a high school kid in a basketball team that sucks.
Yep.
And he's just trying to make it through his high school years, essentially, is what's going on. He has a crush on a blonde girl that will not give him the time of day. Her name is Pamela. He sort of doesn't really acknowledge that his brunette best friend totally has the hots for him. And just, typical high school stuff. Until he finds out that he is from a long line of people who turn into wolves.
Yep.
At puberty. And from then on, he sort of gains this new persona that everybody loves, that's good at basketball and all that stuff. And he has to negotiate that with what he considers to be his true personality, his own weak, meek self. It's obviously a very, very heavy-handed parable for puberty, with a little bit of I don't know how that fits in the thematic scheme factor in there down the line, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I didn't get the puberty thing with the whole thing, though. I that's why I went to from the beginning, it was like, okay, well, he's changing, he's growing some hair, so it's obviously in puberty, but it's like, this doesn't make sense, because towards the end, he doesn't want to be the wolf anymore, so he wants to go back to being a kid. It didn't make sense, so I figured, it was maybe just about wanting to be special.
Well, there's a lot of that, definitely.
And, he is the wolf nonetheless. It's in his family, so him deciding not to be the wolf anymore kind of confused me as well, because it is who he is nonetheless, and him deciding I don't want to be the wolf anymore is basically saying I don't want to be who I am.
And you just hit it on the head. That is the big problem with the story structure of Teen Wolf. It wants to argue that he should be himself, but it fails to acknowledge that the wolf is also part of him. He's also being himself when he's the wolf. He's born with it. He doesn't change his ambitions when he becomes it. Yeah. He's the wolf as well. He's both characters. And the movie wants don't be the wolf, be yourself. It's like, but then you're just denying part of who you are.
Yeah. To me, the only thing it looks like between him and, when he's a wolf and when he's normal is that he plays basketball better. And that's it. I can, of course he becomes popular because, jocks are always popular, is my theory, and that's why the whole school likes him. If he had turned into a wolf in the middle of a spelling bee, I don't think people would have been cheering him on.
But he does get A's as the wolf, too. There's a montage. Oh, God, this movie with a montage.
Yeah.
But there's a montage where he shows up with an A.
does he get an A because he got better at school, or because the teacher likes him because he's making the basketball team win?
I think it's a second, definitely, but I think what they established, though, is that with the wolf comes magical charisma.
Okay.
That makes everybody love you. And that's why he can be a wolf and people are not hunting him down. Because the wolf aspect of him gives him magical charisma that everybody loves.
Okay, I just saw him as he's good at sports, so people like him. But
no, because the blonde girl starts being attracted to him even before he plays basketball as the wolf. And even before he becomes the wolf. She's starting his transformation and suddenly she's like, oh, did you change your haircut? I'm getting wet here, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's because they've established that he has magical charisma.
Okay. That makes sense. Point taken.
So, I mean, like, even if you can make sense of the sort of the consistency of the universe, which I think I can. Like, in fairness, I think I can. Yeah, the thematic scheme is where it sort of all falls apart because I'm a bit confused. I think the idea here is to sort of talk about, like, the emotional and physical changes in puberty and that sort of drive that you get, that drive to get to be reckless and seek coolness and all of that. And what the movie's arguing is that that's not you, that's the wolf.
Okay.
And so he has to let go of that.
Weird.
But it doesn't really entirely fit with some of the details. Such as his father, who's by the way a charming character, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Is he's sort of like I regret having turned into a wolf when I was in anger. So again, that goes with puberty as well, pretty well, letting sort of your hormones take over your emotional shifts and take them to the extreme. But he goes to see the principal and then he uses his wolf powers to intimidate him so that the principal will lay off his kid, which is a positive use of his wolf powers.
Yeah.
Nobody could ever say, like, that's not cool. Like, no, he has a right to do that.
Yeah.
So, at that point, like, shouldn't be the lesson for him to become like his father, who embraces the wolf at appropriate times and knows not to indulge the wolf in inappropriate times?
Yeah.
Because that would have been an interesting lesson, but that's not where it goes. It just goes like, no, fuck the wolf.
I know.
Why?
I mean, when your basketball team is losing 40-16, maybe you need the wolf there towards the end. But I see where you're going.
Yeah.
And maybe it's saying that, maybe as a teenager you're kind of too immature to realize when to use the wolf or not. But I don't think that's true. I think, like you say, ambition and drive is perfectly great as a teenager. If not, you'd, be just, sitting around doing nothing all day. It's great to have a drive to want to do something and be great. And
but the drive of the wolf is misoriented. You know what I mean? Like, the wolf just wants to be liked. The wolf just wants to do reckless things because it's cool. The wolf just follows very primal emotions. And maybe that's not cool.
Okay. All right.
I think that's what they're doing with the movie. I emphasize think because it's really, really murky in the way it's written. Like, this is a movie that ends with this big climactic basketball match.
Yeah.
And I understand why he needs to not be the wolf in this one. Like, I disagree with you when you say, like, well, the team's losing, he should be the wolf. Yes, but when he's the wolf, he's the only one playing.
Yeah.
And everybody deserves to be playing on that team. And so it becomes a bit of a lesson in humility for him to try to do that,
Actually, there's one thing I liked about that game. If the movie was made now, they would come up with something hokey, like, just they made that call on the spot. If he becomes the wolf, you guys forfeit the game or something, And it's not really about that, Basically, he puts that limitation on him. He's like, no, we can win this together. And, no, the wolf is not coming. I'm not going to be the wolf. We're going to win this. We can beat these guys together as a team. Whereas I'm sure nowadays it's like, you're the wolf, you're going to lose the game by forfeit. I was like, that would have been very lame. I really liked the way they did the final game there.
I don't know if they would do that in the future, to be honest, but I agree with you that that's a nice element, because it really becomes about him trying to teach himself humility.
Yeah.
And that's more interesting, definitely. It makes him incredibly more likable, certainly.
Yeah.
Of course, he fucking wins the game. And then the movie ends, and you're like, but what was achieved by this?
Well,
he had already won the minute he decided not to become the wolf and play. His lesson was already learned at that
but
point.
he was also aggravated by the other guy in the other team that kept, hurting him.
Mm-hmm.
And, instead of, retaliating, he kind of, got us by smiling every time. And it's like, yeah, you found me another time out of the game. And, he was completely in control.
I
Yeah.
do want to get a little bit on the positive, like just
Yeah.
to mix things up. We've been pretty harsh on the movie, I find. The jokes are funny.
Yes.
When they make fun of high school life, it resonates. It's true. I like the bit where and it's all Michael J. Fox's acting, but his friends go like, okay, you're gonna show up in a store with a banana in your pocket, but you're gonna pay for the keg so they can't arrest you, which is like the worst idea in the freaking world. Like
Yeah.
this is but how a teenager thinks though. I can believe that a
Yeah.
teenager would be that dumb.
Completely.
And Michael J. Fox says, okay, I'll do it. Give me the banana. Okay, give me the money. Okay, then he throws the banana away, and I'm like, that's hilarious. He gets the keg, and then they get to the party as heroes with the keg, and then, like, the popular kids already got 4 kegs. Like, that's a nice point moment that feels so real to high school as well. You put all your energy, I'm gonna stand out because I'm gonna do this thing, and it's like, yeah, everybody thought of that, stupid.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
I always also find one of his teammates who's a little bit sort of plumper than the other ones.
Yeah.
He's played by Mark Holton, and I find he's so like he doesn't really have a lot of lines, but I think he's so funny just by his facial reactions to things. Like the first time Michael J. Fox turns into a werewolf, everybody's just sort of like standing like, "Oh my god, what just happened?"
Yeah.
But his face, if you focus on his face, it's the most funny because he's sort of raising one eyebrow, going like, the fuck am I? Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny because maybe a little aside, but I like the way he plays basketball well. In the final game, okay, he's a little bigger than the other guy, so he can't move around. So he basically just stands there and does the guard, and a bunch of times just people just run into him and fall on their ass. And he's just doing blocking. I was like, that's a great use of him as a basketball player. I really love those scenes.
It's true. It's no wonder that he ended up in the sequel because, like, he doesn't have a lot to do in this movie, but he shines through. Like, this guy is one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Another great guy is like the coach. Could not give a damn
about anything.
Yeah, he reminds me honestly of like if you've seen a whole movie, he's like Coach McGurk pretty much. That's what he is. He's just whatever, it'll be over. Yeah, they're starting a basketball game. Don't worry, it'll be over in an hour. And this is going to be so painful. We're going to lose again. He doesn't care.
When Michael J. Fox opens the movie with him after a game going like, hey, look, there's something going on with me. He goes into random rants about anything and everything and then just chases Michael J. Fox away just by sheer impertinence.
And still, the door's always open, if you want to hear more random stuff.
That's really funny. I mentioned I like the father, but I love just how zen he is about everything, but like about stuff that he really shouldn't be zen about, which is the best part is when Michael J. Fox is going like, oh my god, I'm turning into a wolf, and then his father keeps knocking on the door. He's like, I'm turning into a wolf, I'm in a wolf. And then he opens the door and his father's there in full wolf makeup going like, yeah, we should talk.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on with the movie that actually does work, and most of it has to do with the actors. I think they've assembled a really great cast.
Yeah, great performance. Maybe like the best friend that's a little crazy there. Probably, I don't know what he was meant to be. Maybe he was funny or that kind of guy in the 80s. I don't get the reference. I just find him more like a little grating more than I found him funny. That might have been a little fail in the humor, but for the rest, it was great.
The character is sort of a walking moron, which is part of the problem. I think a little bit more dimension to him would have been interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to act without your eyes to help you convey various subtleties. Like, he's always wearing sunglasses. So I think the actor is also limited in that, where the screenplay doesn't give him any subtleties, and anything he could have added is sort of hidden by his sunglasses.
Yeah, man, I didn't think of that. That's true. Good point.
But the drama, in terms of the love interest, though, is where it falters for me.
Okay.
I like his storyline with Pamela, the blonde popular girl who gets attracted to him just because she likes his aura. She likes his charisma. She's clearly a girl who is attracted to charisma. She's actually nicer to him before he's a wolf than after. Because he keeps asking her out before she's a wolf and she keeps turning him down. But she doesn't do it in a particularly mean way.
Yeah.
She's just like, look, I'm not interested. Stop asking. But when he's a wolf, she does go out with him. And then, but doesn't break up with her boyfriend before and just creates that tension for nothing.
Yeah.
Like she's more of a jerk to the popular kid in him than to the non-popular kid.
I just felt that she was just, going out with basically the flavor of the month. She wanted to basically latch on to his popularity, and that's what she was doing. She was not really interested in him. She was interested in, his popularity. And that's why she didn't break up with her boyfriend, because maybe she likes the other guy.
Yeah, but if she wants to latch on to his popularity, she has to make herself his girlfriend. That's how you latch on to it. You don't just go out.
No, but you just need to be seen with him, and that's what she wants to. She's just seen with him all the time.
But she was attracted to him before he became popular.
Yes. Well, she noticed in the wolf part, she was like, oh, there's something different about you, but, that's about it. So, yeah, I don't know.
But, like, if she were just like an attention, self-serving character who just likes the popularity, she would have manipulated him, right? But she goes out with him and she goes like, no, my boyfriend's jealous because he's my boyfriend. I didn't break up with him. It's like, and that's super hurtful. And there's no way she doesn't know that that's hurtful. There's no way she doesn't know.
That's true.
Like, she's a complex villainess as a character. Like, she's deliberately hurtful. And she's deliberately hurtful to her boyfriend as well. Like, is she trying to have the two of them fight? It feels like it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some oddities going on with this character where it's like, when he wasn't popular, he was actually safer from her than when he is popular. And that's an interesting idea.
Okay.
And where it falters is with Boof, who's his love interest that the movie wants us to root for. And here's my problem with it. We understand why it's good for him to be with her, because she likes him for him.
Yeah.
She's not attracted to his popularity.
She actually hates his popularity.
But that's becomes a problem because the popularity is also part of him.
Yeah.
But the bigger problem is I don't know anything else about her. She's not a character.
That's a good point.
Pam, I know, likes theater. She's in theater.
Yeah.
We know she's a bit of a slut. She likes to get naked really easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's power hungry and she likes attention. All of that gets conveyed. She is a character.
Okay.
Boop.
That's a good point.
Everything she says, does, expresses is about Scott. It's about Michael J. Fox's character. She doesn't express anything that's about her. She doesn't even have friends of her own. Like, she doesn't have girlfriends of her own. She only hangs out with Scott and no one else. She's just an accessory to him.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. At the end, it comes off like this. He's gonna be with her because she accepts him as he is, not because he values her for anything in particular about her.
Good point.
Because she used to value him for him before, and they were best friends, and he was perfectly happy. And then the movie sort of forces, no. It's not enough for you to be happy with her. Regardless of whether or not you're attracted to her, which the early half of the movie shows us that he's not, you're gonna fuck her, because she's a vagina that accepts you. Like, come on, like Jeff Loeb, like, women are people too.
He is a comic book writer, so I'm just saying.
One question about Teen Wolf that I do want to ask you, maybe you can help me out. I don't get what's the deal with Pamela's boyfriend there. Okay, so he plays for the opposite team, so I assume he's from another school, but he sure hangs out in their school a lot, in school hours. So is he also in their school? Like, what the hell's going on with that character? Because I'm really confused. Like, it confused the shit out of me.
I know he's older because he was in jail, apparently, or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe he can't be... No, I don't know.
Because, like, he's in a different team, so I assume he was in a different school at first. Yeah. But then he's always with them during school hours as well. I'm like, what's going on? And then I thought, oh, they have two teams in that school? Is that what's going on?
That's weird.
But then the last basketball match, no, it clearly says they're two different schools. And so I'm like, okay, I just don't get what's going on with that character.
He's there because he has to be the boyfriend hanging around to be jealous. And, since he's such a secondary character, you're not really supposed to,
ask yourself questions like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what we were saying about the movie in the beginning, is that it's just, it feels like a movie that's very hastily written. It doesn't really add up together. I would argue that the scenes in and of themselves are usually quite charming and funny, certainly with that cast. But yeah, it all comes down to, like, there's no thread connecting these different moments together.
Another thing, there's a scene, Pamela kind of manipulates him to join the theater just for, so I'm guessing they want the popularity and, the wolf in the theater when he shows up, like, I'm not going to be the wolf anymore. It's like, yeah, we don't want you anymore. I mean, that seemed like, I don't understand what the hell they were saying at this point, if you can't be passionate and, angry or whatever.
No, but it's charisma.
Okay.
Without his magical charisma,
all right,
the theater teacher doesn't want any of him.
Interesting. It's not like Pamela was a great actress to begin with. Oh my god.
No, but she's charismatic.
Okay.
She's the queen bee of the school.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, that's a teacher who values charisma and not acting Michael J. Fox's character is a terrible actor. That's also a funny bit.
Yeah.
But I think it is a story about charisma versus the real you, if you will.
Okay.
And how people value your charisma more than who you actually are in life.
Yeah.
And him fighting that, I think that's a lot of what the story's trying to be about, and I just can't really get behind it because I believe that charisma is a part of you. If you're charming, you shouldn't be ashamed of being charming and go like, oh, well, I'm cheating because I'm charming. Well, you're charming. That's what it is. It's part of you. It's an asset.
Why do you think it got like the cult following that everybody loves Teen Wolf and keep talking about it? Like, is it just nostalgia that man, this is like a great movie?
Well, I think it was a hit when it came out just because Michael J. Fox is utterly charming.
All right.
And I don't say that as a like, oh, it got away with it just because of Michael J. Fox. I'm saying no, they had the intelligence of casting Michael J. Fox, and that made the movie a lot better than it could have been.
Yeah. Oh, he's great in all his roles, and you're saying that's why he got cast in Back to the Future as well.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, he was filming Teen Wolf when Eric Stoltz was filming Back to the Future, and then the filmmakers of Back to the Future saw Michael J. Fox working on Teen Wolf, which was his first movie, by the way.
Oh wow!
And they were like, "Holy shit, we need this kid."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And well, that's cool for everybody but Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, I know. I know. He got paid, so.
Yeah, exactly. and honestly, look, I don't think Back to the Future would have had the same success without Michael J. Fox. I think he is Back to the Future as well.
Yeah, that's true.
No, so getting back to Teen Wolf, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a movie that has a lot of momentum because of the actors involved. And there's some really funny jokes in there. So I'm actually not opposed to recommending it so much, but it's one of those movies you can't stop and think about. Because the minute you stop and think, you go like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, all right. I agree completely. Yeah, like you said, the part that, he has to not become the wolf anymore, basically hide his charisma, I didn't like. But the rest, it's Michael J. Fox being super charismatic, so totally, just watch it for that.
No, all right.
So, did you see the sequel?
Yeah, I saw Teen Wolf 2 with Jason Bateman.
So what's it about? I think they're going to college now?
Yeah, well, Jason Bateman actually is his cousin.
Okay.
And he's a Teen Wolf as well, or 2 TOO.
Oh, wow.
The title of the sequel is actually 2 TOO. And and then it becomes the same story except set in college, and instead of basketball, it's boxing.
Ouch.
It's really bad. It's like super bad.
I mean, the way he was dominating, in basketball, I was wondering why there were still people in the stand, because eventually it gets boring seeing one guy dunking over and over and over again that you're like, why am I watching this? So I cannot see many people going to a boxing match if the battles lasted like only 15 seconds and the guys were being knocked out. I'm going to pay full ticket to see this. But it's bad because no charisma, I'm guessing.
No, I wouldn't say that. Bateman is, has proven himself a terrific actor, especially in his older age. He's a great comedian. And I actually liked him in the movie, But it's because we've seen it before.
It's the exact same thing about, denying your charisma and...
Yeah. Everything is exactly the same beat for beat.
There's even the popular girl and the girl that likes him. Like,
beat.
Are you kidding me?
Beat. It is the same damn movie.
That's why people hate sequels. That is really why people hate sequels. Oh my god. I'm actually now morbidly curious and I might actually go and check it out. Wow.
Instead of California Surfing, it's Do You Love Me by The Contours.
Oh my god.
What I find too bad is that I think there was a better sequel to be made, just completing Scott's journey into negotiating his quote unquote true self with the wolf,
Okay.
the way his father clearly has in the movie.
Yeah.
I actually would have loved for him to go into business, like Wall Street, like become a wolf of Wall Street, if you
Interesting.
will. You know,
Yeah.
I think there would have been some major comedy opportunities there about how charisma, especially in the way the stock market and business was run in the 80s, how charisma can lead you very far but very astray at the same time.
Didn't he do a movie about him in business like that?
Yeah, but he doesn't turn into a wolf.
Oh.
So I'm saying a Teen Wolf
Yeah.
movie where he'd have been like adult wolf. I
Yeah.
guess, I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I think that would have been a more interesting sequel, and you could have made fun about how business is being conducted in those days. Like it would have been a more fun movie, I think.
Okay.
But I'd say it feels like a little missed opportunity.
So yeah, we skipped one. Okay, we should apologize. Okay, we're not reviewing the Teen Wolf cartoon. I know it exists.
Oh my God! Yes, with that awful opening, with like the sort of like collage Teen Wolf animation there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember any of these episodes. I know it exists, and that's all it is. So if you're angry that we didn't review the cartoon, we're sorry. It's just
I never watched it. Even as a kid, I never watched that.
I know he was always a wolf in that cartoon, so it completely goes against what the movie was. It's just, I guess, wolf
Well,
are
you-
cool for kids, you know. So
Oh yeah, it's like Teen Wolf, and then it's just this normal dude throughout the entire half hour. Yeah, no, thank you.
No,
As
I
a kid,
understand.
especially, you know.
I understand, but still, like, I guess that has nothing to do with the movie. Is all and we're going to say about this.
No, nothing to do with the movie, nothing to do with the new series. Let's talk about Teen Wolf, the series. This is an interesting series because I didn't watch it because I actually don't watch MTV that much.
Okay.
You know that? But when I moved in my new house, the mover, he went like, "Oh, you like movies?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you like supernatural stuff and horror?" It's like, "I love that stuff," you know. And they have a website. Like, I started talking to him, and he goes like, "Do you watch Teen Wolf?" I'm like, "The series?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No." You fucking watch Teen Wolf. You have to watch Teen Wolf. And like for the rest of the move, every time he'd see me, he's like, "Watch Teen Wolf." Like
Nice.
that dude like loved the Teen Wolf. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, like if he's that passionate about it, there's got to be something to it, you know. So I
Okay.
decided to check it out. I gotta say, it's pretty good.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if it's a case of them just taking the name for brand recognition and just doing their own thing with it, or them going like, okay, let's try to work with these concepts and going like, oh fuck, let's just change everything. You know what I mean? Like I don't know
Yeah.
which one it is
Okay.
because there's some of the dynamics that are similar.
Okay.
He has a goofy friend who's more into reckless things. There is a blonde queen bee who's sort of attracted to him when he becomes more wolf-like. There is a girl that he's attracted to as well. And they're sort of a love triangle, except she's the new girl in school and she's friends with the popular one. So
Okay.
the dynamic is already a little bit different there. And there's a bully as well. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm of these same characters. Or they're such, you know, bland archetypes that any character would have felt like one of the Teen Wolf characters. You know?
That is a good point.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on there in terms of the adaptation. Instead of playing basketball, they play lacrosse.
Of course, because lacrosse is in right now.
I think what happened is that the TV showrunners were just like, let's do something different.
Okay.
You know, like every fucking like One Tree Hill has basketball. Let One Tree Hill have basketball. We'll have something else. You know what I mean?
Well, lacrosse can be like wolf-like without like killing anyone, which is kind of interesting as well. You know.
It's true. But he had a speech about it. It was like, so I guess I have a football team, and the bully, who's obviously a jock
Yeah.
as well, goes like, no, football here. Our football team sucks so bad, nobody cares about them. We're only winning championships with lacrosse, so this is a lacrosse town now. Which is like, I actually see that happening though. You
Okay,
know, like
yeah.
because sports in small towns, they drive the economy in a real way. So if your winning team is lacrosse, that's what people are going to watch because that's what's helping the economy for the town, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So that was a fun speech. It's like, we're going to explain our weird choice of sports for this town. And then it goes into more conspiracy type stuff and people hiding secrets from other things and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Well,
Like, obviously he doesn't reveal that he's a wolf to people.
If you make a long series about it, you know, you have to have conspiracies or else, you know.
You don't have to, but
But-
what I'm saying is it's not a sitcom.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So
yeah.
you watched Teen Wolf. So you followed the mover's advice.
But yeah, no, well, like, he seems so passionate about it. It was like, who am I to tell him, like, no, what you like is crap, and I'm gonna decide that without actually giving it a try. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna give it a try.
All right.
No, I can see why people like it. I can see why he likes it. There's something there. It's well executed. It's interesting.
Okay.
I dig it.
You think it's a good series on its own right?
Mhm.
Is what you're saying. You think though it came about with the success of Twilight though?
Oh,
Since-
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure that's a motivator in there. Teens and Supernatural. Oh yeah, all right. And TV's all for that. You know.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You know, a lot of people are going like, it's only in response to Twilight that it came to birth. I have to hate it. It's like, you don't. Like, you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
There's no law that says that. If something came from crap but turned out to be good, you know, then take the good thing and denounce the crap thing. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So, next week we are talking about 21 Jump Street, the movie, not the TV series, just because our show is about reviewing movies.
And it'd be quite long to watch the whole TV series, so we're lazy that way.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't find it.
All right.
Like, I think I would have imposed it if I could have found it and get you to watch it, but I couldn't find it legally.
All right.
Whereas the movie, that's easy to get a hold of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yes, I know I could have bought the DVDs, but like I'm not buying a full season for a one podcast episode. Come on, people, like, give me a break.
If you want to give it to us, it's on our wish list. Just saying.
All right, so until next week, if you want to write us, share with us your love for Teen Wolf, or hatred for it, or your love for Teen Wolf 2, the underrated classic of all times.
Or berate us because we didn't talk about the cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. You can write us at mail@idiomanic.com or post a comment at idiomanic.com. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. We're also on iTunes. If you could write us an iTunes review, we'd really appreciate it. It helps us get the support to generate content for you guys. Otherwise, I will have no choice but to try to find a pun to make Teen Wolf 3. Like, I don't know, he turns into a tree. Teen Wolf tree.
Oh man, I'm not watching
yeah.
that.